Welcome in, everyone. It is the next week of the Rowdy Reviews podcast, recapping the NASCAR Cup Series events. This week we are recapping Martinsville Speedway, Richmond Raceway. Both short tracks, both in Virginia, but Richmond.
Don't make me recap Martinsville twice.
The first recap of Martinsville off camera was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, recapping Richmond Raceway. KB was running 2 races this weekend in the trucks and the Cup race, riding the Cessna Tundra and the Red Nose Day Camry. I'll have Gavin do the race rundown real quick. Pretty consistent, like not really high of the highs or low of the lows, but average day and a solid result. But yeah, what's your recap on the race?
I'll go ahead and kick off with Saturday. So the KBM boys always bring a fast Cessna Tundra to the racetrack, but we were just missing a little bit. What was interesting to me in that race was that another reason why he had signed up to run this race particularly is because of how bad they struggled there last year. He come to find out all 3 of the trucks were running complete different setups, just trying to gather some info and stuff on what to work on with the short track programs and stuff like that with the team. And obviously John Hunter had the best setup of the 3. Kyle had a good truck, just didn't really have it had the speed all day, but it really didn't have the handle, especially towards the end. So got second to John Hunter again. I was kind of frustrated that right after it happened, but come to find out my favorite regular truck driver did end up winning. But when the boss isn't in the field, I root for John Hunter, but when Kyle's in the field, I do root for Kyle. So it was kind of frustrating, but happy for John Hunter. Glad he picked up number 2. Keep them coming. Now with Cup, it was just another one of those days where we just kind of struggled. We're running mid-pack a lot of the race, and then we're starting to find some stuff, with each of the adjustments and pit stops and whatnot. We're finding something and slowly coming on up. And then I don't know what you want to call it, 2020 part 2 or bad luck hits again or whatever, when he hit that got that commitment line violation running 3rd coming to pit road. That kind of sucked. I really had a feeling that he could have possibly won the race, if like you saw at the end, Hamlin and Logano were burning their stuff up, and obviously neither of them won because of the late race caution and all that. So kind of makes me wonder how it would have played out, if Kyle wouldn't have gotten that violation or penalty and would have lined up 3rd or where Bowman started. That could have been interesting, but and just another one of those days where the penalty got us at the end and just really couldn't do anything on that. We'd like to give a shout out to Joe Gibbs Racing. All 4 cars got a top 10 finish, with Denny, Christopher, and Martin getting top 5 and Kyle getting 8th. But all 4 of them came home with a top 10 finish, which was good for the team. Slowly making gains. So me personally, I was pretty proud of the race on Sunday. We're getting better. Just we gotta work on these penalties. I wanted to throw my opinion out there real quick too about this this penalty, because I haven't really spoke much on it, or that rule. Matter of fact, I'm not really a big fan of the rule, just because technically it's not like they are not like the crossing the line and then not coming in or whatever. Like, that would be understandable, but just the way it went down, I mean, he had no control over it. The car was already like practically sideways entering, and yes, he was pushing a little too hard, but I'm not a big fan of the rule. I think either way he would have gotten a penalty though. They probably would have gotten speeding in the first section, but I just don't. I'm not really a big fan of the commitment line rule myself. I'll let Nick give his thoughts on the race and that rule particularly.
Yeah, so right in the beginning of the truck race, I was at work, so I didn't really catch much of it live. I was peeping on my phone, put my phone in the drawer because I'm a cashier, and between like every like 30 seconds, I'd open the drawer and check on what's going on, seeing him in the top five, waiting him to get that lead and drive away, but I never really saw it. And I didn't think he was the best car. Like I saw him leading out during one caution, but I was hoping he'd be there at the end. And then when it came between John Hunter and Kyle on the last run, I was hoping Kyle would just find something magical like he has done before and pass him, but not enough at the end. Great day for KBM. John Hunter's not my favorite, but I do like him because anyone on KBM I'll like. Even Chandler Smith got a top five. Played a little different strategy and held off on older tires for a while and just got passed for third with like 10 to go. So
This is Chandler Smith's best race so far this year, I believe, right?
yeah, it is. His best finish was ninth at Daytona before that. And yeah, he's always good at the short tracks. I'm hoping what's next race is Kansas. KB's in that one too. I'm hoping I want to see him improve on the mile and a halfs because from what I hear on the radio when I am watching is he's complaining, and I don't know if the crew thinks it or not, but to me it sounds like they treat him as like one of those teenage kids who always complains. So I'm hoping they have a good relationship and it's not just what I think I hear. But as for the cup race, I was going back and forth because whoever decided to schedule IndyCar and Cup at the exact same time is pretty stupid. But watching mostly IndyCar on TV and the Cup race on my phone. But as you can imagine, you prioritize what's on the big screen rather than your phone. But just keeping tabs on my phone on what has happened in the Cup race, watching the stream. And then when the IndyCar race ended was pretty much when Kyle got his car up to good shape up in third. And he was like, the guy behind him was like 10 seconds behind. Kyle was 5 seconds behind. That last pit stop, he was just trying to get everything he could because, like I said, like you said, he had a good car, nothing like Hamlin and Logano, but when they're racing each other like that, using their stuff up, I'm just lucky when he got that penalty, it wasn't stacked from speeding and that. It's not like speeding where you wait to see if it's going to be called or not. Like that penalty is pretty clear cut. You go over the box, you're penalized. So that's 2-day races at Richmond in a row where he could have won and got a commitment line violation. If you remember 2017, he was in second to Logano, and Logano pitted. There was a caution. It was under caution. Kyle hit the box, got a penalty, and had to drop to the back. Could have easily won that race too. So good. I'm glad he got the free pass and wasn't dealing with all the wave around people in the last restart. He finished 8th, which is still good. Would have loved the top 3 like he was running. But in terms of my favorites this weekend, Chandler Smith finished 4th, but my guys finished second, and 8th. So he almost finished second too.
Yeah, I was flipping back and forth between Indy and NASCAR.
Yeah.
Like to say, really wasn't obviously it would have the results show. I mean, the way the results were, I mean, I really didn't expect more out of Jimmy, but it was really cool to see him on the racetrack again in a different vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm glad he got
practice.
I think it's great that he got a lot of TV time though. That's another reason why I watched. I will admit that I watched more of the IndyCar than I did the NASCAR just because of the Jimmy stuff, and it's cool to see as much TV time as he got, even when he was in the back. So,
and that first crash was definitely unexpected. Two-time champion.
Yeah, yeah.
But as for my favorites, a pretty damn good start to the year. Power's usually Mr. Inconsistent. And I think that's like the first race he's completed without making a mistake. And I don't know how long.
I didn't even know Hunter Ray was out of the race until 50 laps in.
Yeah, it was a bummer for Herta. He would have done good. I want to see what he can do in a full-fledged Andretti car. For Jimmy, I'm kind of worried because this weekend, St. Petersburg, it's okay at Barber if he spins like he did. He makes the slightest mistake at St. Pete, he's going to the wall street circuit. So hoping
Yeah,
he keeps the fenders on it. And Power's usually faster, so he'll probably get in the fast six at least. Hopefully pole like he's done before. Like last year, he started the last race of the year. He started on pole, and then lost the lead on the first start, and then everything went wrong that you can imagine, and ended up hitting either another car or the wall and being out of the race. I remember him throwing his helmet on the ground. So I hope he doesn't do that again. If he could just put some good results together, that'd be good for the championship.
yeah.
But Jimmy, yeah, and then they race Texas. I think he's going to race the Indy Road Course, but not the 500, obviously. I'm excited to see where IndyCar goes because, like the whole race, Dixon was behind Power, and they're both really old and veterans and all, but Power makes mistakes all the time. I was waiting for Dixon to pass him or Power to make a mistake and Dixon go by, and it just never happened. So happy about that. Impressed with Palou, first race for Ganassi getting a win.
Yeah.
I wonder how he's going to do through the whole course of the whole season. I feel like it's going to be between Dixon and maybe, I don't know if Newgarden might have gotten, once you start this far back like he did, it's hard to make it up with Dixon, So I don't know. Rossi had a pretty good first race, so maybe it's going to be between those two this year. But I don't know. Did you catch any of the F1 race?
I didn't because of how early they are.
Yeah.
That's like 6 in the morning my time, and I wasn't even up. But I usually do hit the highlights though, and I'm just like, I was just so impressed that Lewis went through what he did and still managed to come back and get second. That was,
I know people say, "Oh, why does he get his lap back after the red flag? Why does, luck, everything?" It's like, just shut up. Like, they can downgrade everything he does. Doesn't discount from the fact that his car was beached in the wall and he still has the championship lead after the guy that finished second last week and won this weekend. So
yeah.
I definitely pissed off when I saw him go on the wall. I'm not going to say I'm happy that the caution came out because it was his teammate and Russell, but that helped him. And I was definitely satisfied with the second place finish after all that. F1 was exciting.
F1 was pretty exciting. We had all that going on with Hamilton. We had a helmet slap. We had a middle finger. We had some good stuff going on. So
yeah, Supercross broke my heart. Roxon took the lead. Would have been down 10 points going into the last two races, and he had a 12-second lead with about 5 minutes to go. He was in the whoops and he got a little squirrely. The bike dropped. He didn't really fall, but the bike dropped and he still had a 5-second lead. And then like once you have something like that happen, you just like lose your momentum and focus and everything. And he got passed with a minute left by the guy leading the championship. So it went from 10 points down to 16 going into the last two races. And
that's a bummer.
It's probably over unless something happens to Webb, but I don't know. I just want him to win another race, I guess, get 5 on the season. And then they're going to have they race indoors, which is Supercross, and then they go to outdoors, which is called Pro Motocross. He's already got a championship in that, so he is better in motocross. I'm hoping. Last year he took it off with COVID and him and his wife having a baby born. So hopefully this year he races. I think he'll be one of the favorites for that because Webb's not good at that, who's leading Supercross. But pretty solid weekend from the results point. My average finish of all my drivers was like 5 because I got a bunch of second places, a 4th and a 8th. It's like that's 2 weeks in a row where all my favorites have finished in the top 10, which is pretty impressive. This weekend, my favorites include Arco, Ty Gibbs. There's like 3 competitive teams there, so I'm hoping he has a chance at the win. Cup and Xfinity, I'm just hoping my guys don't get taken out. Things a shit show you. We always know that. IndyCar, St. Pete, hoping he makes no mistakes. Supercross, I just want him to win. Championship's really out of mind now. And Formula E has a doubleheader in Spain. It's one of the tracks they had preseason testing on, so this should be cool. Usually all of Formula E's races have been on street circuits, and this is actually like a actual like racing track. So
bringing the Interstate Batteries colors back this weekend.
This is a throwback shirt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm got my. But yeah, Interstate Batteries colors this weekend. I hope the real car looks just as good as the virtual car tonight, running up front. But
hope it finishes there.
Yeah, I mean we've had. I mean Talladega is always 50-50. Like I mean, let's just face it. It doesn't take talent there; it just takes luck. So I mean, 50-50. We've had several races with Kyle running up front the whole race and finishing up front. There's races where he's ran up front almost the whole race and got taken out. There's a race he won there. And then majority of them were just early crash outs. So hopefully we can at least just hang out up there, out in the race.
Let's get this straight. He won at Talladega so long ago that I wasn't a fan of him when he won. So I've never seen him win there unless it's an Xfinity car. I barely remember his truck wins the night of Halloween. But let's get it straight. You said 50-50. Kyle at Talladega is 20-80 of good results. So 20%, 80%. Even last year, he had a dominant car, didn't get in a crash. What happened? He had a flat tire and had to pit and still finish 32nd or something. And he had a really fast car. That was the first race in June.
Well, let's just hope that luck goes our way this time. Hopefully we can get number 1 of the season.
Yeah.
You're just not very excited. I'm not either really, but
I'm more excited to watch Talladega Nights Friday night than I am to watch the real race.
I just try to keep my head held high with I just try to stay positive. Sometimes it's hard, but
for Xfinity, Gregson's good at speedways, so I'm looking forward to that. He's had so many bad results this year that it won't surprise me if he gets in a crash. But Kyle, if he has, you've seen him block. He's not good at blocking, and that's what it is these days. He's good at leading the pack when it's tame, but not when it comes down to blocking.
Well, I already make a bold prediction that all the Gibbs cars are going to be on the wrecker on the Saturday race. So
yeah, what lap do you think Tyler Reddick's going to wreck Kyle on Sunday?
Lap 70 of 180.
I'm thinking more towards 150 when there's like 30 to go, maybe 160.
It all just depends on who you're around. I mean, there's guys that don't like to be aggressive like him until the end, really. Yeah. But there's guys that just don't care at all, like the 22.
47.
They'll just drive through you at any 22, 47, yeah. And so
I hope push. At least you can push in the Cup Series. In iRacing, you can't push at all. It's you bump draft the guy, and the guy leading is squirrely. You can hardly keep it together.
Yeah.
How much Dega racing have you done on iRacing? No, I've been doing a lot this weekend.
I bought it like 3 days ago, just because it figured to be like some good lobbies.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen anything much yet. I'm not really too excited about super speedway racing. So I did a 50 lap Daytona Xfinity race the other day and was running restarted second on a green white checker, and the guy that literally private messaged me, asked me if I wanted to work with him, was running a Kyle Cup paint scheme on an Xfinity car, and just ended up taking me out. So yeah, so that was that. I did get my first street stock win though last
Thursday or Friday, I think.
something like that. Yeah, that was a good one.
But yeah, I haven't gotten that first win yet. I got 2 second places today. I got second in that Mazda race, and I got second in that IndyCar race I was doing before this. The Indy cars, I expected to go flat out. If you're behind someone, you cannot. There's so much aero. That's how the Cup guys feel in real life. Like
that wind feels good though when it comes. I tell you.
I know. I bet I could have won that.
It doesn't really
Mazda
matter.
Race.
Doesn't really matter what you drive.
I was leading some laps in a late model the other day, but something went wrong there. What's it called? People wreck a lot, and it's frustrating because the most fun races I've had are the ones that are clean. I ran a Cup car at Charlotte with like 15 guys, and we all kept it clean, and I had fun. I finished 6th.
I've been having trouble finding some Cup races, but
yesterday I raced with a couple Cup drivers. Anthony Alfredo was streaming, so I got in a lobby with him. I raced with Alfredo, Joey Gase, and James Davison, which is pretty cool. And then whenever I'm available and Natalie Decker's streaming, I race with her. I did a race with her last night. I gave her a big push across the finish line. She gained her like 3 spots, which was cool. She finished 8th. I got 11th. But
awesome.
Yeah. I was hoping some of the Cup guys would be on tonight, but I haven't seen them. I see Kaz Gralla doing some like sports car racing with Austin Dillon or something, but I was gonna, Real Radman on YouTube.
Yep.
He was streaming and I was gonna do it, but his last race was he was in the middle of his last race as I got done with dinner, so he was done streaming iRacing. They were wrecking all the time, so it didn't look like any fun anyway, but
yeah.
I don't know if it's because they're open setups or what, but they get really spread out at Talladega, and it's like you can't do anything to close it back up, really.
Yeah, it's the fake setups. So.
But yeah, ever since like Sunday night, I've been doing a bunch of hosted races, joining a bunch of hosted races, which is fun. So best part about that Mazda race was damage was off. So
good thing about the street stock race I won was it was ranked too, so I got I rating.
Oh, nice.
Some decent I rating. So
are any of the hosted sessions ranked, or is it just the series?
It's just the current series.
Yeah. If you join a race series, you don't have to do the whole series. You just did that one, right?
Yeah.
Do people keep it clean in that because it's ranked?
Yes and no. Sometimes people are just too aggressive. Sometimes, I say most of the time, people are clean.
You know what pissed me off? I was in a truck at iRacing Super Speedway, that big one.
Yep.
I was in a truck and having a blast drafting, and it was getting down to the later stage of the race, and I was like in 6th place. I was tired of lifting off the corner, so I made a really big move going inside the guy, and it's not Talladega Daytona. There's no yellow line, and I went below the line and I got disqualified by the admin. So I don't really know why. I didn't wreck anyone. I messaged them saying next time I'll just go through the guy and wreck everyone.
Yeah.
So. Getting the dishwasher ready, sir?
What's that?
You getting the dishwasher ready?
The washing machine.
Oh,
Sorry, I had her work clothes and some stuff in there so she could have clean clothes for tomorrow.
yeah.
Didn't really matter. Didn't really matter for me though, because I don't go into like 4 or schedule says 3, but I don't even see myself getting there till like 4.
Yeah, I gotta work 9 to 5 tomorrow, just like every other day. It was nice. It was nice to celebrate 420 yesterday. I'll tell you that though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a doozy. Yeah.
I felt if everyone feels like a cop, and then you see people looking at you, it's like, do they notice something in you or what?
Yeah.
Tell you, nothing pisses you off when you after a couple hits.
I think yesterday was that finally started getting like feeling back to normal, except for being weak, like getting tired earlier and stuff. But for yesterday, it was like the first day I felt like completely back to normal, just besides being tired
Yeah.
and all that. But yeah, um,
What was happening? Just
whatever my kid had, I got
hmm.
because he had woke up in the middle of the night getting sick, and next thing you know, I woke up. I didn't like throw up, but I was like miserable the whole day. Like I couldn't even move.
Yeah.
And
Just
she
like
came home.
what's it called? Like lightheaded or
Yeah, and she came home the same exact day early from work because she was throwing up and getting sick too. So it's like, it's not
it's
good.
it's like those days where you have like no energy, like you can't even like stand up for a while.
Yeah, and it's like the body aches are just so intense, and you can't
Yeah.
really. Yeah, I
I I,
felt.
I was pretty much
I,
like perfect attendance in school, but there was like 2 days in high school where I felt like that and I had to stay home.
I promise I don't have COVID, but that's exactly what people say is part of COVID. Those stupid or those
Every
terrible,
every
stupid,
single
terrible
sim
body ache.
every single symptom of sickness is related to COVID these days. Like if anything that you feel bad about, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's COVID." Like the COVID symptoms involve everything that every other cold or flu or whatever contains. So
Yeah. Well, that was a recap on the Richmond race weekend. Um, Talladega next.
expect that one to be short after he wrecks.
Yeah, I hate to think like that, but you got to be real too about it. I mean, I don't want to say, oh, we're gonna be wrecked, but I hope not. But you just with the way it's kind of been there, I don't really see us not. I don't really see us not, or I don't see us getting through it, the big one or whatever.
Well, I'm trying to think of the last time I've seen him not wrecked at Talladega. 2019. What was the spring 2018 race like? What car did he race spring 2018?
Spring 2018 was that flavor vote car. In spring 2019, he ran that chocolate bar car and finished like top 10.
Oh, the flavor vote. Yeah, he got spun in the big one there. I remember that. I want something like the spring 2017. He was leading up till a lap and a half to go, and Stenhouse passed him, but he had a really fast car that day and avoided all the wrecks.
Spring 2019 was good too. Was up front.
Yeah, I cared more about the top 10 streak than I did to win that race,
Yeah.
and he got exactly 10th. 2016, he was up there, finished second to Brad. Now we're going too far behind.
Yeah.
I don't know. Last year he looked good on the tracks, on the speedway tracks in Daytona. he was meh, so we'll see. Can't say much about the adjustments this race. I mean, this will probably be his best chance to get stage points, seems like.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll recap Rowdy's reviews. We both got some stuff to take care of before our jobs tomorrow. So thank you all for joining. Please like, comment, subscribe. Rowdy Reviews. Hoping for a win soon. We got one with the Clash in episode 1. We need something, whether it's trucks or cup, Xfinity, we'll see. But thank you all for joining. Catch us next week at Talladega.